The Haunting of Ravenswood Manor, Part 1. The Invitation. The wind howled through the barren trees, creating an eerie symphony of creaking branches. The moon was hidden behind a thick layer of clouds, casting an ominous shadow over Ravenswood Manor. The once grand estate stood as a haunting reminder of a forgotten era. 5 strangers gathered in the parlor of the manor, their faces filled with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. Each one had received an invitation that promised an experience they would never forget. The first to arrive was Sarah, a young writer seeking inspiration for her next novel. Her hazel eyes darted around a dimly lit room, taking in the faded wallpaper and dusty furniture. As she waited, she couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. Next came James, a skeptical journalist who had spent years debunking supernatural claims. He had accepted an invitation out of sheer curiosity, determined to prove that there was a rational explanation for everything. The third guest was Amelia, an eccentric artist with a penchant for the macabre. She wore a flowing black dress and carried a small bag filled with sketchbooks and charcoal pencils. Her pale skin seemed to glow in the dim light as she surveyed the room with a knowing smile. The fourth guest, Mark, was a retired professor of folklore and mythology. His wrinkled hands trembled slightly as he clutched his walking cane. Despite his vast knowledge of the supernatural, he couldn't help but feel a shiver run down his spine. Finally, the last guest arrived, a man named Vincent, who claimed to be a psychic medium. His piercing blue eyes seemed to see beyond the physical world. His voice carried an air of mystery. The other guests regarded him with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. As the clock struck midnight, a door at the end of the parlor swung open, revealing a tall man dressed in a black suit. His pale face was etched with age, and his silver hair cascaded down his back. "Welcome to Ravenswood Manor," he said, his voice echoing through the room. "I am Samuel Ravenswood, the last of my line. I have invited you here because this house holds a dark secret, a secret that has plagued my family for generations." The guests exchanged uneasy glances as Samuel continued. "My ancestors made a pact with an ancient and malevolent entity. In exchange for wealth and power, they offered up their souls. But the entity grew greedy, demanding more and more until it consumed their very essence." Sarah's fingers trembled as she clutched her notebook. This was the story she had been searching for, an opportunity to capture the essence of true terror. Samuel led the group through the dimly lit corridors, each step echoing through the empty halls. They passed by faded portraits and decaying furniture, feeling the weight of the past pressing upon them. Stay tuned for Part 2.